YouTube, how are you now? So Delta Force just released on PC and Steam for everybody now. It's no longer demo, although it is like an open beta, but basically it's open for everybody now on PC. And they've made quite a few changes weapon balancing wise since the demo. So I've updated this time to kill chart for Delta Force. Basically, if you're new to this, I gathered all the stats from in the game for each weapon. So you have your weapon here, your control, which is recoil control, handling, which affects your ADS, aim down sight, and sprint to fire. Stability is like the sway, and then accuracy is hip fire accuracy. Your magazine capacity, starting ammo capacity in the magazine, bullet velocity, rate of fire, damage per second, and then your damage values for your head, upper torso, lower torso, and limbs. Some of the guns do have different numbers for arms and legs, but if it's a lower number for limbs, even if it's just the legs and not the arms, I put the lower number in there. That way you can just kind of see how the TTK works. But it gets a bit too confusing when you have too many lines, so I just kept it simple like that. And then you have your damage values for every range from 5 meters all the way to 120 meters. So your weapons here separated by class. You have your assault rifles, new gun here, Type 191, your SMGs, new gun they added the MP7, your shotguns, LMGs they added M250, your Marksman rifles they took away the M14, but they added the PSG-1, your sniper rifles, and then your pistols, and they added the M1911 here. So these are just all the stats if you want to check and compare with the game in-game. And then you have your time to kill here. So this is your theoretical time to kill in milliseconds if you're hitting every shot at the fastest fire rate possible. So obviously if you're missing shots due to recoil or enemy movement, whatever else, you're not going to be getting these numbers, but this is basically just the fastest time to kill possible if you're 100% accurate with full fire rate. So your fastest time to kill is going to be in red. Within 50 milliseconds of that, fastest time to kill is going to be in orange. Within 100 milliseconds, it's going to be yellow. Within 150 milliseconds is light green. Within 200 is dark green, so on and so forth. So ideally, you would want red, orange, possibly yellow. Those are going to be the most versatile in those ranges, but the guns vary quite a bit depending on the ranges. So just going to go through each gun, see how they perform. So the Car 15 is a decent assault rifle if you're able to hit the upper torso, but other than that, it's not that great. So if you're hitting lower torso, it's not that great. Even the headshots doesn't speed up your time to kill that much compared to some of the other guns. And then, so really it's only decent out to about 30 meters if you're hitting the upper torso. Beyond that, it's not very good at all, besides these small ranges here, but that's not very consistent. Then your PTR 32, very good out to 30 meters unless you're hitting the limbs. The limbs slow it down a little bit, but as long as you're hitting the torso or above, very fast time to kill out to 30 meters, and then it drops off pretty hard in that mid-range, but decent here and decent there, but probably not going to be the greatest beyond that 30-meter range. Your QBZ 9.5, not very good at all. It's just kind of mid-tier, but headshots is okay if you're hitting the headshots, especially in this mid-range. It's decent in the mid-range, but not very good anywhere else. The SG 5.52 is decent, out to about 40 meters, and that's really good in this mid-range here. Good with headshots as well, but penalizes if you're hitting the limbs by quite a big margin there. So you have to be accurate with it, but if you are accurate, it's very good out to about 70 meters, and beyond that, it's not that great. But then super long range is really good again. So it drops off in this 75 to 90 meter range, but very good overall as long as you're hitting your shots torso and above. Also very fast fire rate too, so a lot more forgiving than some of the other guns. Then you have your AKS 74, very good out to 30 meters, so decent if you're hitting torso and limbs. So it's very consistent though, even if you're hitting all the limbs, it's the same time to kill as if you're hitting the torso. So it's very consistent there out to 30 meters, and very good if you're able to hit headshots. Mixing those headshots speed up the time to kill, but beyond that 30 meters, it's pretty bad. It seems to be a lot of the assault rifles fall off at that 30-meter range and aren't very good. Well, at least compared to the better assault rifles. Then you have your G3, M16 burst gun. So I didn't do the time to kill because that's probably not the actual rate of fire for a burst gun. So I just did the bullets to kill. So one burst to the head out to 40 meters, and then it's going to be 2 bursts out to 60 meters, and then beyond that you're going to need 3 bursts to the body. G3 is decent out to 50 meters. Pretty good if you're able to hit the headshots, lowers the time to kill, and then beyond that it's not very good. AKM again, decent out to 30 meters. Okay if you're able to hit headshots, speeds it up a little bit, but just decent out to 30 meters, and then beyond that it's not very good. AK-12, same thing, pretty close to the AKM, but a little bit better with headshots, a little bit worse with body shots, but then drops off really hard with body shots beyond that 30 meters, so not very good outside of that 30 meter range. Then your M4A1, let's get that, where's the distance, there we go. M4A1 is decent out to 30 meters, whether you're hitting body or head compared to the other guns. Falls off a little bit here, but then it's good again in the mid-range, so good overall. Definitely better performing than some of the other guns that drop off at 30 meters and never pick back up. So M41 is a decent one all around. Not the greatest, but decent, and then really good at long range, but probably not going to be using assault rifles at 95 plus meters. So AS-Val is very good up close, as long as you're hitting the torso and above. If you hit the limbs, it falls off quite a bit. Then decent in the mid-range, falls off a bit here, but then picks up again in the mid-range again. Very good in this mid-range here. And then beyond, very good as well, but probably not going to be able to hit shots at those long ranges either. But good up close, definitely one of the best up close, and even in the mid-range, but falls off in little weird ranges, but you have to be hitting torso and above. Limbs going to slow down time to kill quite a bit. Scar H is decent out to 40 meters if you're hitting torso and above. Again, if you're hitting limbs, not that great. Actually, it's good out to about 70 meters. But you have to be a little bit more accurate. But it is a slow firing gun, so it's probably able to hit those shots torso and above, as long as their arms and stuff aren't blocking your shots. AUG, it's alright, not that great, out to mid-range. And then in the mid-range it's better, but up close is one of the worst guns for the assault rifle class. But very good if you're able to hit the headshots, so it can speed up time to kill very, very much if you're able to hit headshots, so you definitely want to be going for headshots with the AUG. Otherwise it's not very good. Ash 12, the best all the way out to 50 meters. Decent here, and then one of the best, if not the best, at long range as well. So, and it's very forgiving, allowing you to get the same time to kill whether you're hitting limbs, torso, upper torso. So definitely the best assault rifle overall, and it does speed up your time to kill if you're able to hit some headshots. Not as much as some of the other guns, but it has the fastest time to kill body shots, which is going to be the most consistent there. M7 is very good out to this 70 meter range, and is decent out to 90 meters, and not very good at long range, but probably one of the more consistent guns, so right up there with the Ash 12. Not much slower than the Ash 12, slightly slower, but also forgiving with the limbs as well. So doesn't matter where you're shooting them, whether it's limbs, torso, or upper torso, you're still going to get very fast time to kill. It's not as good at the longer ranges as the Ash 12, but it's very good out to 70 meters, so it's probably about as far as you want to be using it. Assault rifle anyway. K416, they definitely killed this gun. It's probably one of my favorite guns in the demo, but it's not very good anymore. So it's really good out to 20 meters if you're able to hit upper torso, but if you hit the lower torso or the limbs, it falls off really bad. And then beyond that, 20 meters is terrible, no matter where you're shooting them. So pretty bad gun overall. I wouldn't recommend using that, even though it does have a faster fire rate. They nerfed that gun into the ground, so probably not going to be using that at all. And then the Type 191, the new gun they just added. Very good if you're hitting headshots or upper torso out to 30 meters. Decent if you're hitting torso and limbs. So it's forgiving if you're hitting the limbs out to the 30 meters, but then it drops off a little bit more here if you're hitting the limbs. So you want to be trying to hit those torso and above. It's really good in the mid-range too, but it does have some weird fall-offs, and then good at long range too. So all the guns seem to like go in and out of whether they're good or not. So they're not good at everything, but they're good at things here and there, and have weaknesses in strange ranges. So really it just depends which gun you prefer, which one you perform the best with, because they can all be usable. But the Ash 12 is definitely the statistically best gun. Same for the M7. all the other ones kind of vary depending on how you want to use them. And then your SMGs here, your Uzi is decent up close, out to 15 meters. Not the best, but within 100 milliseconds, no matter where you're shooting them. So pretty good there, but it does fall off a little bit in this mid-range here, and then at longer ranges as well. So okay, not the greatest. Bison, same thing. Not as good with the headshots though, but torso, body shots decent, and then limb shots pretty fast too. So it does have that weird fall off though, but it's pretty good out to about 40 meters. And then beyond that, it's not very good. The Vityaz is a headshot machine. If you're able to hit headshots, it can lower the time to kill quite considerably. It's very good out to 15 meters as well, even out to here as well, all the way out to 50 meters, but it does have a little drop offs here, but within 100 milliseconds is not bad. So very good out to, I would say, 50 meters, and then beyond that you definitely want to be trying to hit headshots, but SMG is probably not going to be happening. So within 50 meters it's probably one of the better SMGs. SMG 4.5 is decent out to 55 meters as well, but it does have that drop off there, and it does penalize you if you're hitting the limbs as well in this close range. So definitely got to be hitting torso and above within close range, otherwise it's going to penalize you quite a bit there. But in the mid range it's okay, doesn't matter if you're hitting limbs or not, but overall I'd say avoid the limbs as much as possible, that way you don't get the drop offs there. Decent gun. MP5, very good all around, as long as you're not hitting the limbs. It definitely hurts you quite a bit if you're hitting the limbs, so you have to be hitting the torso and above, but it's probably one of the best, if not the best, overall SMGs. Very good up close, very good at every range basically. So either the fastest or the second fastest at every range as long as you're hitting torso and above. SR3M is very good up close. It's decent at longer ranges too, but has little fall offs here and there, but still very good up close. And more forgiving as well, so if you're hitting the limbs it's going to be a better option than the MP5, because it's not going to penalize you as much for hitting the limbs. It's not going to penalize you at all actually. So if you're hitting the limbs a lot, this will do you better than the MP5. P90, same thing, very good at every range. Has a big magazine capacity too, so it's very good at every range. Definitely one of the better ones. Probably going to see a lot of those. So it's not the fastest time to kill, but it's competitive, very competitive. So, and with that 50 round magazine, it can do some work. Vector, obviously the highest DPS because the fastest fire rate, and it's one of the best, if not the best, as long as you're hitting torso and above. It doesn't hurt you as badly as the MP5 does if you're hitting limbs, but it still does penalize you a bit. So, fastest firing gun, you would expect to be the fastest killing gun as well. And then the new gun, the MP7, is very good out to about 50 meters and then decent beyond that, but it does penalize you for hitting limbs as well in certain ranges, so definitely want to try to hit torso and above with that, but also very good. So for SMG, very fast fire rate, 2950. Then you got your shotguns here. So this is how many pellets it would take to kill at each range. So I've highlighted your one-shot kill potential if you're hitting all your pellets. So this M870 has the longest one-shot kill potential, out to 15 meters body, 20 meters head, but you have to hit all the pellets, and then these other two guns out to 10 meters body shots, and M1014 can get headshot if you hit all pellets, 7 pellets, but basically you have to hit all the pellets to the head, and then beyond that you're going to have to hit quite a few shots, because 17 shots would be three shots, because 16 pellets is 2 shots, and then that's 4 shots, that's 5 shots, so quite a few shots at 20 meters. But S12K has the fastest fire rate, so it makes sense. And you have your LMGs here. So your M249 is decent all around. It's not the best up close, but it's decent. It can hang in there. And then you're going to be your best at long range. So decent up close, best at long range. PKM, slower fire rate, but it's still competitive with the M249 up close, but it falls off a bit at the mid range. And then not as good at long range, and especially super long range. But I don't know if you'd be able to be hitting those shots, but at super long range it's the worst gun. Mid range it's the worst gun as well for the LMGs. And then your M250, the slowest firing at 550, but the fastest up close out to 70 meters. So very fast time to kill up close, and then decent at long range too, as long as you're not hitting the limbs. Then your Marksman rifles, you have your SKS, so very good out to 55 meters. Very good headshot potential as well, but beyond that, it's terrible. So within 55 meters, it's a beast. Beyond that, it's not going to be very good. Mini 14 is going to be one of the best, if not the best, at every range, but it doesn't have the headshot potential as some of the other guns, but body shots is going to be your best bet at every range, except super long range, but it's still going to be one of the best, second best there. Then your VSS, decent out to 90 meters. It's going to be your best beyond 90 meters, but probably not going to be able to hit those shots that long range. But if you can, it's going to be your best long range gun, and it does have very good headshot potential as well to lower your time to kill. SVD, decent out to 90 meters. Not as good headshot potential, but if you're hitting limbs, it's absolutely terrible. And then beyond that 90 meters, it's absolutely terrible too. So you can get good use out of it as long as you're accurate with your shots, but you can't hit those limbs. SR25, very good out to 90 meters as well, but you can't hit those limbs again. And then beyond that, it's not very good. But still very good overall, you just got to avoid the limbs. And PSG-1, the new gun, is basically the same thing as the SVD. So don't hit those limbs. You can get good use out of it, but beyond 90 meters is pretty bad. And limb shots is terrible too. So Mini 14 is definitely going to be the best one. Unless you're able to hit headshots, then you might want to go with the VSS. Or even the SR25. SR25 is a good bet all around too. So. And then your sniper rifles. So every sniper rifle has one shot headshot at any range. Then beyond that's going to be 2 shots, except for the M700 beyond 80 meters, which is going to be 3 shots. So definitely want to go for those headshots. In the game, it says, so I have the stats down here. There's 2 different ranges here. So on the gun stats, it says the drop-offs are farther, but in the actual chart, damage chart, it shows lower. So I'm guessing it's going to be longer ranges. That makes more sense. It doesn't really make that big of a difference except on this gun because they're always going to be 2 shot or 1 shot besides the M700. So could be a 3 shot at 60 meters plus, but I think it's 3 shots at 80 meters plus. But yeah, just depends which gun you prefer. They're all terrible if you're hitting the body, so you definitely don't want to be trying to hit the body. And then finally your pistols. So we have the G17. It's decent out to 25 meters. Does have headshot potential if you're hitting headshots to lower the time to kill, but obviously it doesn't match the 1-shot kill potential of like the revolver and the deagle. But very good headshot time to kill at longer ranges, mid-range to long range. One of the better guns too. So just falls off in this mid-range a bit, but you're probably not going to be using pistols long range anyway. So decent gun. QSZ 92G is very good up close as long as you're not hitting the limbs out to 15 meters. If you're hitting limbs, it's terrible, and then beyond that, it's terrible. So headshots don't do anything for you either, so you're going to get 320. That's the best you can do out to 15 meters, but can't hit those limbs. If you hit those limbs, it's terrible, and then beyond that 15 meters, it's atrocious. Your revolver has 1-shot headshot potential out to 35 meters. Same thing for the deagle. Still very good, even if you're hitting the body shots out to 35 meters. It's decent here, and then long range is very good as well. So very good, but it does have a slow fire rate, 182 rounds per minute. You have to be accurate with your shots, but if you can hit your shots, it's a very good pistol. And then you got your burst gun here. So 2 bursts, 2 bursts, 3 burst, 2 bursts, 3 burst, 2 bursts, 3 burst. Then your deagle, headshot potential, very good up close out to 20 meters, so it's fastest time to kill possible if you're hitting every shot with pistols. But slower fire rate as well, 207, you have to be accurate. Then it falls off really hard in this mid-range, but then picks up again here and then falls off again, so probably not that useful beyond 20 meters. G18, your full auto, it's decent up close, but it is more forgiving that it has that fast fire rate and it's full auto. And it's more consistent too, so if you hit the limbs, it doesn't penalize you. But headshot potential is not as great, obviously, as the 1-shot headshot potential, but it can lower your time to kill if you're hitting headshots. And then beyond that, it's not very good. Longer range is good, but probably not going to be able to hit those shots. So within about 10 meters is about all you're going to get use out of it. And then your M1911 new gun is very good out to 20 meters if you're hitting the torso. If you're hitting the limbs, it's terrible. So, and then beyond that, it's pretty bad too. But good if you're able to hit the torso and above. So yeah, that's it for the new Delta Force. I looked at the extraction stats. They all look pretty much the same other than like handling and stability. But the damage numbers looked all the same, so didn't bother updating this chart. But if you want to look at it, you can, based on 100 health. But obviously the I do have to add the new guns though, don't I? Yeah. I might come back through here and add the new guns as well, but it's a lot more complicated in the extraction mode because you have different bullet types that do penetration values and all that stuff, different armor types, so it's just based on 100 health, try to keep it simple. So it's not as important, but it gives you a baseline of how the guns perform with 100 health. But I'll update it in the future since I do need to add the new guns. But it's going to take some time, and I haven't even played the game yet, so I want to play the game before I go too much in depth to it. But yeah, just helps me to put these time to kill charts together. That way I can see how certain guns perform, how to use guns, whichever gun I'm using to the best, to make the most of it, that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, if there's anything in this chart that you think is missing that would add value to it, that would be worth putting the time and effort into adding, let me know down in the comments and I'll see about adding. It's always about making it better, always work in progress as well. So I update these charts all the time whenever there's new information. I don't always do videos unless it's pretty significant weapon balancing, but they did make quite a few changes since the demo. Made it a lot more consistent with how the guns perform. So in the demo, there was a huge discrepancy between limbs and torso shots, that kind of stuff. The time to kill would vary pretty wildly, so made the guns feel quite inconsistent, but now they've made things more consistent across the board, so every gun should feel more consistent. But yeah, just helps me to put these charts together. Hopefully it helps you guys out. And that's it. Hopefully I'll see you guys out in the field on Delta Force. It's a fun game. Got to try it out now with all the new content. So they've added maps and all that kind of stuff, new guns. So should be fun. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.